Dance Decoded.
Hi, guys, and welcome to Dance Decoded Episode 1. In this episode, we will be grabbing the new year by the horns. From class schedules to teachers' qualifications and understanding the training your dancer is receiving, we answer the pressing questions in the mind of every South African dance mom. I'm Gabriel.
And I'm Veronique, and this is Dance Decoded.
Hi, V, how are you today?
I am lovely, thank you. How are you?
I'm super excited to be sitting down with you today.
I know, I can't wait. This is going to be such an interesting episode.
Episode 1. Right, so today we are talking about New Year's preparations. What should be done at the beginning of the new year, things to look at, things to look out for, how to spot red flags, how to spot green flags, and everything in between.
All the things.
So let's start right at the beginning. It's the new year, so obviously you need to register for classes. You need to do all the things, decide what classes you want to take, what styles you want to take, and so forth. So firstly, let's talk about studio selection. Okay, so I'm speaking to the dance mom who has dancers already in the industry, already taking classes, already doing all the things. So it's a new year. What do you do? Well, the first question is, are you staying with the studio you're at? Are you going to a new studio? Are you adding classes? Or what should you be doing? V, give us your opinion.
Yeah, this is so dependent on the styles that you are wanting to focus on, like whether you want to start in a new style, explore different things. There's so many different options. I feel like when it comes to contemporary, lyrical, and jazz, most studios have those three together within a selection. And then you get your studios that solely focus on ballet, solely focus on hip-hop. But it's very rare that you find those three performing arts styles as like a sole studio. So I guess
I would like to be an advocate for, if you are taking lyrical, contemporary, or jazz this season, get your butt into ballet class.
Yes, please. You do not have to become the next prima ballerina. You don't even have to do the exams. Just attend the classes, especially if it's in those three styles that Gabe's just mentioned. Ballet is so imperative. They derive from ballet. That's where it started. So you've got to go back to that basic.
Let's just be honest here. In your average contemporary class or lyric class or jazz class, there's no time to take it back to the beginnings, to the foundations, to where the movement originates from, which is one of the most important things in specifically contemporary, is where your movement originates from. A lot of our studios teach lyrical contemporary jazz without the proper foundational work. And that's not dissing the teachers. That's just how classes are. Within an hour class, there's no time to have 20 minutes of bar and 20 minutes of ballet center before moving on to your actual class. So that's why I've always encouraged my dancers that I'm not a ballet teacher. I teach jazz, I teach contemporary, I teach acrobatics. I'm not a ballet teacher. So please do yourself the favor and go to a ballet teacher. Take ballet classes. Like Veronique said, it shouldn't necessarily be exam classes. It shouldn't be for you to try to become the next prima ballerina. That's not what it's about. But it's to sharpen your technique, to be able to perform and execute those modern contemporary lyrical jazz styles in the correct technique.
Yeah, and the saddest thing is, like, the amount of times I've heard from dancers where I told them, like, look, you're brilliant in contemporary, so proud of you, please go do ballet. And then I get a response of, but ballet is boring. And that just kills me, because it's actually so intricate and like to the book. And again, like I said, literally where the style derives from. So whether it's boring or not, do yourself a favor, do ballet for a year, and just that year, see the difference in your dancing and then make a decision from there.
I don't know, but in my mind, ballet is dance 101. You can't do any dance style without having a solid base knowledge of ballet. If you do, it enhances your quality of movement and your understanding of your body and where movement, like I said, originates from, so much better. And it'll enhance the contemporary and the lyrical styles so much if you understand the technique that you're executing.
Where it's coming from, exactly. And more importantly, it really teaches you about body alignment, which falls into safety and not being injured. So ballet truly is just go do ballet, guys. Go into your
Absolutely.
daughters and your sons into ballet.
Coming from the competition scene, being a competition director and executive director for the last 5 years, we've seen thousands of dancers in the country, and I can be honest to say that the dancers who stand out the most in styles like jazz and lyrical and contemporary are the ones who are taking ballet classes. Even if it's outside from their home studio, they are doing the ballet work, and it enhances their work so much. That's the kids that stand out. That's the kids that win the competitions everywhere they go. They're not winning for ballet, they're not performing ballet, but they're taking ballet classes 3 or 4 times a week to enhance all other performance styles they have. It makes a difference, guys. It does.
It really does. I would almost say, now that you say 3 to 4 times a week, if you are doing something like jazz, contemporary, and lyrical, ballet should probably trump that, the amount of times a week you are doing it. You know, if you don't have time for it, or you don't have the financial support for it, fair enough. At least just then try that once a week for an hour, hour and a half. But I would say more ballet than other styles, especially if you're starting off with it, you know?
So yes, ballet, big part of it. It should be part of your 2026 curriculum if you are planning on competing and placing and getting the auditions and stuff like that. It is imperative that you have a knowledge on ballet. Let's move on to another style that is something I feel does not get its flowers in South Africa, and that is tap. Let's talk about how important tap is to a dancer's growth.
Yes, absolutely. Personally, myself, I haven't dabbled into tap the way I have other styles, but I have done it. And the things it taught me musically, as well as just listening to music, the rhythms, the beats, all of those things, it honestly helped me see music in a different way, you know?
Let's just call a spade a spade. Maddie Ziegler started with tap.
Yeah, that is true.
That's why she was musically so brilliant, because she could hear the rhythms and the patterns where other kids could not. Tap teaches you to hear things within your music that just by performance styles, regular performance styles, does not teach you that. It's such intricate work to feel the different rhythms and have your rhythms change within your performance. And I just feel like musically it's so important for these kids to, it doesn't have to be a main thing, but a half an hour a week of tap, basic tap, nothing intricate. You don't have to compete it, you don't have to perform it exactly like ballet. It's something that just enhances your understanding of your body and music. And also ankle strength. Come on, ankle strength, guys.
Those quads.
Like you want to see those releves like explode to the next level. Start tapping.
Absolutely. One thing that also really struck me was, you know, thinking me who trained in ballet, thinking, oh, I've got this strong core, I'm so amazing, I got this. The way you have to switch your body weight in tap really shook me the first time.
The weight placement is completely different, and it's an insane world. It's magical though. It's one of the things I enjoyed the most in my training and competition days is tap. It was just such freedom. And the thing with tap is it's not like other styles where you need amazing flexibility or the best ballet technique or anything. Tap is something that anyone can excel in. You don't have to be a dancer to be able to tap.
That is so true. It's
like a skill on its own.
Yes, I do think it doesn't get enough recognition. I've noticed that at competitions when I adjudicate and things. It's sad, but it is necessary, and I do wish people would give it more of a chance.
Well, in a competition scene where in 2025 we had about 2,000 dancers compete with elements of dance, and I think we had 5 tappers altogether. Definitely the smallest section in our entire competition.
That's what I do want to add. They were probably all solos, right?
All solos?
No, where are the groups? There's something beautiful about the synchronization when tappers in a group just hit it at the exact same time. Oh, my word.
It's something
Beautiful.
so spectacular. I haven't seen that in such a long time.
Absolutely. Same. Yeah.
Let's pivot
Okay.
this conversation a little bit more and talk about teachers, how to select your teachers. Do qualifications matter? Is experience more important? And how do we navigate that?
Absolutely. This is such a like personal opinion type of conversation, but
Absolutely.
there's a definite right and wrong, and obviously experience has a massive role to play in it. I'm going to say, in my opinion, qualifications for me necessarily aren't the beginning and end all of everything. Experience definitely is. There are certain aspects like ballet. Get a qualification. Don't teach without that, please. That to
Absolutely.
me is important.
Please be
But
safe.
yes, don't just try to teach an open ballet class and have no clue what you do. Don't do that. But yeah, I do think if you're looking for your daughter to do actual exams, find a teacher with a qualification. Don't just jump into anything. I don't know what's your take on studios that do what they call studio exams.
And
So when I say studio exams, I'm not talking about your qualified, how can I say, not qualified exams, but like, your AIDT, your Decoded, your RAD, your SABOD, things like that. I'm talking about teachers that literally teach the kids like fun dances, bring someone in randomly. Parents
to
pay for
judge.
it. Yes,
Hmm.
parents literally pay for this, and it's not actually an exam. It's not real, if I can put it that way, in my
It's made
opinion,
up.
personally.
Call a spade a
Yes.
shovel. It's made up. Okay, V, let's back up a bit because
Okay,
our listeners may not all understand this concept. So in South
I got
Africa, we
you.
do not have any governing body over dance. It's not like SA Rugby that has the governing body over all of that sport in our country, because there's always been this debate whether dance is a sport or an arts form. There's no
Yeah.
governing body. That means literally anyone can teach any type of dance. There's no regulation for dance studios as a business in South Africa. It's not like in
Yeah.
America where you have to belong to a certain main association to be able to run a studio. There's no such thing in South Africa. So in SA, we have a couple of different associations where teachers affiliate with, or where teachers study to become teachers, and then they teach that society's syllabus in their studio. It doesn't mean they are the governing body over dance. It doesn't mean they are responsible for Dance SA whatsoever. It's just that they provide their teachers with a basic manual and structured work to teach within their studios.
Yes, and to teach for students from anywhere, any level. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have a couple of different societies in South Africa that I would like to mention, just so our listeners out there can kind of see if their teachers are with any associations or not. So first of all, we have the AIDT, Association of International Dance Teachers. They are one of the biggest associations in South Africa, with one of the largest programs for modern tap and hip hop. Then we have the SADTA. They are the leading syllabus and association for freestyle, disco, and they have their own hip hop syllabus as well. Next, is there any societies you want to mention, Veronique?
Yeah, another modern one is SABOD, South African Body of Dance, which is primarily a head office Gauteng area, which is also modern tap and hip hop.
And then we have smaller associations like, I forgot to mention TDA, Theatre Dance
Yes.
Association with Dai. They're pretty big as well. Also, All Styles, they have acrobatics as well. They have very nice conditioning syllabus, I have to say. I was associated with them for a year, a couple of years ago, and I had access to some of their syllabus, and they had some amazing work, I have to say. So after
Wow,
that,
yeah.
we have a couple of smaller associations, like we have Pinto Ferreira's Jazz Ed, which is amazing syllabus, but it's strictly jazz. And then what else can you think of other societies? Oh, apart from now, would you like to introduce the ballet societies?
Yeah, so the two largest, I would say, is RAD and Jacketti. I know Gauteng is primarily RAD. Most ballet studios here, it's not much that you find a Jacketti studio. There is one or two, but mainly RAD in the Gauteng area. And your Jacketti is more on the coastline, but both syllabi, is amazing. I did both and loved both, absolutely. So really strong technique training there.
Oh, I love an RAD studio. A couple of years ago, I did Cinderella with an RAD studio. I was obviously the freaking prince. I'm always the freaking prince. And it was such an amazing experience to perform with those ballerinas. Oh, loved every second of it.
It's something else, yeah.
And then I forgot we also have DASA. They're a pretty large ballet association as well.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not super familiar with that on my side.
Ignatius van Heerden is a DASA teacher.
Iggy! Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing.
I know DASA work because my niece took ballet for years from an old Daniki who did DASA ballet. It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. I learned a lot from her as well.
I learned something new. All right, let's move into how these teachers are able to receive their teacher's qualification and move into bringing it into their studios and teaching the generation that is dancing. So, for example, I know that with ballet, it's at least a 2 to 3 year course, but a training regime that's quite intense. The theory is really hectic, anatomy as well. So the teachers really gain so much knowledge with Jacketti and RAD just in terms of safety and understanding the technique, where it derives from. You even learn about the history of the technique, which is quite an eye-opener and pretty cool. And then obviously the actual examining of becoming a teacher is really, really strict. You don't just simply get it. You got to reach a certain level, have a level of understanding. You create your entire portfolio as well, which was so cool to see. I don't have my teachers, but I do know a lot of people that got it and walked the road with them. And you literally create an entire portfolio about your understanding of these exams. So from my side, I know definitely with Jacketti and RAD that these teachers are being pushed to the max on how to eventually relay the syllabus to dancers.
Yeah, it's the same with AIDT and TDA. Their teaching program or teachers association program is a 2-3 year process in which they learn absolutely everything, the anatomy, structure of the bones and joints and tendons and muscles and all of the things you need to safely teach kids, as well as the entire syllabus, how it's supposed to be taught, what are you looking for, including case studies in regards to fixing problems on the body, like hips not being aligned or bow legs or stuff like that. These larger societies are very good at preparing case studies to see how that teacher would react and how we would correct that in that situation.
So something important to note as well is that these teachers do refresh their courses yearly. So even though they have their qualification, there are still like yearly workshops, if you will, for these qualified teachers that they have to pay for and take in order to constantly up their training as well to give the best to your dancers. So I started my Sabot teachers and then stopped with it. But what I can tell you from the work is they really are trying to implement as many styles as possible. So even though you're doing a modern exam, you get like solos within the exam that's focusing solely on lyrical and focusing solely on jazz. Yes, which is
we had that
a
in
massive
AIDT as well. Guys, when you listen to our Introducing the Hosts episode, you will know exactly what we're talking about. We go in depth into our training and where exactly we came from.
Yes, a lot more will make sense. What I will say is, if I had to compare Sabot with AIDT, I found AIDT to be a bit more challenging than Sabot's work. What I did, however, love about Sabot's work is that the bar work has a lot of ballet incorporated into it. So it's kind of like the dancers are doing modern, but they are still learning about turnout and things like that as well, which was really cool.
Another thing to look for when you are selecting a teacher from a specific society is if that society updates their syllabus regularly.
Yes,
if
please.
I mean, we can't teach work that was developed 20, 25 years ago because the dance industry is constantly changing. Everything within the industries, from trends to what judges look for, changes. The work simply should be changing with the times. If you are in a studio where they teach work that has been developed 30 years ago, then that should be an indication as to what the level of your dancer is going to be.
Absolutely. And the industry is so fast paced. It has to
Incredibly.
keep up. It has to keep up. Absolutely.
And then just to touch on the smaller societies, we do have a couple of associations that offer not association but access to their syllabus, which is also it's a training methodology for teachers in a specific style. And usually these societies, they are only available to teachers who have already qualified somewhere else as teachers. Examples of this is acrobatic arts. It's a Canadian program that was brought to South Africa a couple of years ago. We actually have quite a few acrobatic arts teachers in South Africa. It's an amazing program. It teaches acro in the most incredible way, from the perspective of safety first, which is something I don't see in acro studios a lot lately.
Yeah.
It's no regard for safety, just jump in your trick, that type of thing. So that's what I love about acrobatic arts, is the fact that they teach you the proper everything to make sure that before you do that trick, everything in regard to that trick is safe. And with them, if you want, absolutely, with acrobatic arts, if you want to be an acrobatic arts teacher and have access to their syllabus, you have to already be a teacher. You have to already have some form of associates behind you already, either AIDT or TDA or whatever. But you need to already have a teaching degree. Same with Pinto Ferreira's Jazz Ed. People who know me will know I only teach jazz ed in my studios. It's a fantastic syllabus, but same thing. It's only available to teachers who are teachers already. If you don't already have the knowledge of anatomy and placement and technique and how to teach specific things, a standalone syllabus like that will not work for you. If you have a teacher that teaches one of these syllabi, they need to have a different qualification as well.
Moving into studios where teachers don't have qualifications, and I can absolutely talk about this because I am one of those. I don't have qualifications, but I have the experience and the knowledge that's needed. And there are some teachers out there that truly teach this way and are brilliant. The biggest thing you need to look for your daughter or son dancer is to make sure that teacher has knowledge and experience. You can injure kids, you can do technique incorrectly, but I'm not fully opposed, in my opinion, to teachers who are teaching without a qualification if they are doing it correctly. Teachers, it's so important that if you don't have a qualification, you need to keep learning. You need to keep growing, because if you don't, you become stagnant, and so do your dancers. So if you're not part of an association, that's fine in my opinion. But still,
absolutely,
continue to grow, continue to teach, continue to learn. Your growth should never stop at any point.
You know what? We have always been an advocate for you need to have a qualification, just om die koring van die kaf te skei. But at the same time, that I don't feel like that's applicable to everyone, because there's a difference between someone like you who teaches and choreographs and comes from a very strong background and has the knowledge and has the ballet stuff, and someone who teaches head, shoulder, knees and that. I kid you not. I'm going to use an example, and dear God, I hope they're not going to come for me. But I know a specific studio who the teacher used to be qualified, and she lost the qualifications over the years. I don't know if it's because they were revoked or because they expired, but she has zero qualification behind her name. Now, you should think that this teacher has immense experience being a teacher with like 20 years behind her. But she does the weirdest things in her studio. Like she would, like we briefly started talking about studio exams. She would charge her parents money for exams, and then there would be studio exams, and these parents would not know the difference. They would be, oh, but my child received 94% for their last exam. And I'm like, but that's not an exam. That's a head, shoulder, knees and toes class.
Yeah, that is so sad.
That's where here in the Free State, we had an uproar a while ago about teachers should have qualifications. And that's because we had a situation where someone from outside Free State came marching in with no experience, no qualifications, nothing, opened a studio and started doing demos at schools, proclaiming that all the other teachers are teaching wrong. That's why kids are coming home with bruises. And I fell off my chair because bruises are part of your learning curve. And she's outright, number one, dissing all the qualified teachers and stealing students for a studio that has zero qualifications and teaches stuff like acro without the necessary safety precautions. There was an uproar, and that's why I've been on the situation where qualifications are important, because that way not anyone, you can't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be a dance teacher and I'm not going to teach them head, shoulder, knees and toes, and I'm going to have 25,000 6-year-olds. What is that creating? That's just creating, I don't want to say broken half-assed dancers, but at the end of the day, that is what you're left with. And then those teachers get to competitions and they wonder, but what's happening? Why's my baby's getting bronze?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's why.
And then it ripples into all these other things that just becomes a big mess. Yes, the thing, there's such a fine line between not having a qualification and knowing what you're doing, and
knowing what you're doing.
Yes, having the knowledge to, even if you're like someone without a qualification that maybe only ever did lyrical. Amazing. Please go do some ballet. Let's go back to that. Like, it is on you as the teacher to understand that you have these dancers' careers in your hands, and it's on you to make sure you do right by them. And there's so many people.
Said that, now that you said that, you know what tickles me? You are a qualified teacher in modern.
Okay.
Now, next week you wake up and you decide, I'm giving hip-hop classes and acro and Latin and aerial. Yes, you're a qualified modern teacher. You don't necessarily have the skills to teach aerial and hip-hop and all of the other things. Please stick to what it is you do.
It's
and
so
that's
true.
just
That's
a money grab, right? That's a money grab in South
Yes.
Africa. I'm a dance studio, so I'm going to make bank. And I've heard how many teachers say that starting a hip-hop class is what made their businesses thrive. Not because they're good hip-hop teachers, because hip-hop was the fad at that point. And everyone wanted to take hip-hop classes, and every freaking modern and ballet teacher added hip-hop classes.
Yeah. Again,
same with acro. When the fad came in with acro after the whole dance moms craze, every teacher added an acro program. They're not qualified with AFSA. They're not qualified with acrobatic arts. They have no history in that type of safety. Acro is a different ball game than regular dance safety. I'm sorry. There's a lot of things that's contorted and way differently. And the things we get taught in Dance 101 about the body changes in acrobatic class because you're contorting the body. And these teachers are adding an acro program to their studios and making thousands of rands a month on an acro class that is putting those kids in direct jeopardy, number one, and number two, might prevent them from ever becoming professional dancers because they might have injuries before the time they're 18.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest, as we know, I don't have a qualification. I'm not going to go teach acro. I'm sorry. I would be much too scared that I'm actually going to injure a dancer and end their career. So it's for me just selfish to be doing that as a teacher. You're working with kids and students that might possibly have a career in this industry. But what I have found when I've seen people teach acro, do you know where they get their lessons from? YouTube.
Of course, I've seen teachers copy entire performances from YouTube, place it on their kids and send them into competition. But I mean,
It's
this whole conversation takes me into the next point is, should your dancer be taking 12 styles from the same teacher?
no. I'm sorry, personal opinion, no.
We need
No.
in South Africa, we need more well-rounded dancers. And there's this tendency
Mm.
where a teacher would be so scared of losing a student that she would hold that student back, not allow them to take classes from anyone else but them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you noticed
like
that?
I have. No, I wouldn't say everywhere I go because you get your exceptions, right? But
You do. You absolutely do.
majority of them are so beyond scared to lose a student. And look, it's a different situation if you're bringing in other teachers into your studio, right?
Yes, yes.
That equals it out. That's fair enough. But you as teacher cannot possibly be teaching all these styles to utter perfection in the level that it needs to be. Your dancers need a community. They need more than one teacher, more than one style of teaching. It's so important for their career one day, or just in general.
It takes a village to raise a dancer.
Absolutely. I love that saying. I love it. It's so true. It takes a village.
I have this problem.
Mm.
I hate it when teachers hog their kids like this, because I can speak from experience. If you
Yeah.
don't allow these kids to take classes from anyone else and they're only taking classes from you, they will never become better than you. Your kids will plateau exactly where you as teacher are in your life at that point.
Absolutely.
And I can advocate for that, because all my dancers, it doesn't matter how much training you put in, your dancers become mini carbon copies of yourself.
Yeah.
I have dancers that can only turn on a left supporting leg, can only split right, can only arabesque left. These are all my limitations.
Yeah, as a teacher,
My kids,
yeah.
my kids kind of became a mold of me. And if you have dedicated dancers who are passionate and driven, they are going to look like to their teacher like this, and they are going to become little carbon copies of that teacher. If you as a teacher have a weakness, your dancers will 100% develop that weakness as well. You need to send those kids
Yeah.
to a different teacher that doesn't have the weaknesses you have, in order for them to become well-rounded dancers.
Absolutely. You got to start a community and take it upon yourself to give the dancer what is necessary. Like, yes, you need to take care of your business. I understand, absolutely. But at the end of the day, you also need to think about what the dancer needs to make a success of themselves.
Absolutely. And I mean, you need to think of the end game here. If a dancer is not used to working with a multitude of people, how are they going to function their first week in the professional industry? You have no say over who you work with, how they treat you, and you can't use an excuse like, I've never worked with them before, so I don't understand them. No,
No one cares.
You need to be able to work with anyone at any time and basically conform to their style of teaching.
Yeah, you've got to learn to adapt to different styles. Absolutely. Whether it's technique or artistry, you've got to be able to adapt.
Absolutely.
So something that I've found in a lot of the studios that do their exams yearly and things like that, something that is not a part of the curriculum that they are teaching is conditioning and stretching. I've heard so many teachers say, oh, just please go home and stretch for an hour or so, or like 20 minutes. And then at the same time, there is no conditioning to even it out. So you get dancers that are overly flexible and getting injured because there is no support from the muscles. There is no body alignment.
No strength.
There is nothing. Then you get kids that are over conditioned, where the hips are just locked and tight, and there's no stretching. 100%, which again causes injuries because they struggle to push into turnout. So for me, an even amount of conditioning and stretching per week is so imperative. You can start the young ones with this and make it fun. Like, it can be a part of your mini classes. And I'm not saying conditioning like gym bro conditioning. I'm talking about like your Pilates and things like that.
Please,
that
no
really
squats.
center. Oh my
No
gosh.
squats. Please, dancers, don't do squats. Don't do it. Don't ask me why, just don't do it. Take my word for it. Dancers who know me knows why I hate squats.
Yeah, but I need to know now. I need to know.
Okay.
So my personal opinion when it comes to conditioning is Pilates, like through and through. You get different variations of Pilates. So I'm not talking about like your old school Pilates, but I still do it till this day every time. And the level of core strength it gives you is really amazing. I've seen a lot of dancers with zero core strength. And guys, you need a strong
Absolutely.
core. You need a strong core.
The
You have
most
to have
important
that.
thing.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So look, dancers don't necessarily like it. I know that's why a lot of studios don't give it, because they complain they don't sign up for the class and the studio loses money. So dance
Yeah.
moms, if the teachers are trying to bring this into the curriculum, please push your dancer to do it. It is so, so important. They can't just be taking technique. Let them do stretching, let them do conditioning.
Also, teachers out there, you need to have a requirement for your competition team. They cannot be on the competition team if they are not doing regular strengthening and conditioning and stretching apart from regular competition classes. This is should be a non-negotiable, exactly like every competition kid should be taking technique classes apart from their competition classes. It should be a requirement. And we'll get into that in the next episode in regards to competition-related things. But I
Yes.
always see these big competition teams, and all they do is work on choreography. There's no technique classes. There's no strengthening and flexibility classes, and like I said, technique classes. It's just choreography every day. And although we learn by choreography, and most students learn so well via choreography, you need that extra class. That you're sending them into the competition world, which is a horrible place to be. Let's just be honest. Call a spade a shovel. Your kids should be taking conditioning. They should be taking strengthening and flexibility classes. And I'm not saying take acro, although that's been the main thing. Instead of conditioning, people just put their kids into acro. Have you realized that?
I've seen, yeah, and you need to, even with acro, please do conditioning.
You still
Some
need
form of
that
it.
conditioning classes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. It really helps with injury prevention as well for the parents out there. And I do want to say, for the parents out there listening to this, please don't forget that if your daughter or son is doing dance, they are an athlete. And just as how you'll see someone that does a 100-meter sprint do conditioning, your dancers need to be doing the same thing.
Absolutely. Here. You know what? I would love to just send all rugby players and all sports and athletes to dance class just for a week, just to,
Yeah.
you know what? It's a different ball game, guys. If you're out there listening and you have sons in rugby and cricket and all of these things, just know that that's not half of it. You have no idea.
No idea. And parents, if you are not convinced, then ask the teacher that your daughter or son is dancing at and attend a class. Just take one class if you're not convinced.
You know what? I've had this question before, and I see this question hovering over social media a lot. Should parents be allowed to view classes? I had recently heard someone on an American podcast say that the ALDC studio from Abby Lee Miller, they were only allowed to view the classes initially before the show started. They were only allowed to view the classes once per quarter, and that was unfathomable to them. And I was like, but that's kind of in our studios in our country, that's kind of the norm. You don't have parents sitting in every class.
Absolutely. I know from my personal experience when I had the studio, if parents were able to, oh gosh, how do I put this nicely? If parents were able to respect the teacher, the studio space, and the class, and sit there quietly and keep to themselves and not distract the dancers, by all means, come sit inside. You're welcome. Unfortunately, that just does not happen. There's always one
Sorry, it
parent
doesn't.
No, there's always one parent constantly interjecting. You'd be trying to teach the dancer a new pirouette or something, and the mom's the whole time
My
like, the teacher
gosh.
said, go up on your toes. And then I turn around and
Yeah.
I'm like, let the teacher say it. So I think
Also,
that's the biggest
there's-
reason.
There's an automatic imbalance of authority when the parent is in the studio, because now
Yeah.
the teacher is not the main authority anymore, because my mom is there. She's my main authority. And that is
Yeah.
what destroys relationships or never builds relationships between students and teachers. I would never prefer parents to be in the studio with me while I teach. In your first week, when your child is new, you're allowed to view my classes just to make sure that I'm
Yeah.
doing everything according to how you want me to do it. And then from
Yeah.
there on, maybe once a quarter, you can come view class to see progress. But apart from that, I will never allow parents in my class, because immediately that you're not the authority figure anymore.
That is so true, especially for the younger dancers, like your minis, up until like the age of 11, 12 or so. I feel like in the senior classes, it's not such a big issue because the parents anyways don't come.
No, not
It's
really. Yeah.
No, it's these younger classes, and I understand. Look, I'm a mom too. My kids are dancing too, so there's this sense of like, oh, I hope she's okay. I hope she's coping. I hope she likes the teacher. But honestly, you have to, after that first week of viewing, just step back and trust. That's can I just add another thing with this? Mommies,
Mm.
when your daughter comes out of class and says something that happened in class, don't believe them right away. Just go talk to the teacher.
Yeah, don't take it as fact.
Just go talk to the teacher first. Listen to everything. Yeah, there's been so many kids can say the funniest things, and obviously as a parent, you're not there. You're overprotective, so you kind of just like jump onto it. Understandable, I get it, but yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons, as going back to the point that we were talking about, just why we prefer parents to wait outside.
I also think that it's really important for the trust relationship to be built between the teacher and the dancers. I'm not talking about senior dancers here. I personally feel like senior dancers, they need to have the work ethic, they need to push. But for little ones, you need there to be a trusting relationship between the teacher and the dancer. And that's something that struggles. It's like a power struggle when the parents are in the studio with the dancer as the teacher is working with them.
Absolutely. I don't think parents realize how important that level of trust is, and having the dancers look up to you and kind of see you in that light. It's so hard to relay the technique and the understanding of everything. You know, parents send their 6-year-olds to dance class and think, oh, they're just having fun. Yes, they are having fun, but they're learning. They are still learning.
And
so
they're
that
learning
trust is
so many
important.
things. So many things. They're learning
It's the
so many valuable things in life when they're juniors in the dance studio.
Absolutely, and they're learning all the basics of dance. They're learning the foundation. It's literally, parents, the equivalent to your foundation phases in school, grade 1, 2, and 3. Literally the equivalent to that. All right, so I think that is all we have time for today. We really hope we helped clear the air for a lot of parents out there, especially if you're entering this industry new with your daughter or son. If you do have any questions or concerns, things we possibly did not answer, please send us a DM, pop us a message at Dance Decoded Podcast. We would love to hear from you and get back to you. All right, guys, I think that's it from us today. We hope you enjoyed it. We will chat to you soon. And this is Dance Decoded.
Dance Decoded.